Tonight, testimony has ended in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Jay Gray has been following this case from the beginning and has the details from the courthouse today.
Last night, we had some further discussion, agreed?
Correct.
14 days into his murder trial, Derek Chauvin's voice is heard on the record for the first time in the courtroom, telling the judge his voice won't be heard from the witness stand.
I will invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege today.
And with that decision,
Your Honor, at this time, the defense rests.
Thank you. Mr. Blackwell, does the state have rebuttal?
Yes, Your Honor.
the prosecution's lone rebuttal witness, Dr. Martin Tobin, a pulmonology expert many legal observers already considered their strongest witness, disputing testimony from a defense expert who suggested George Floyd's heart or carbon monoxide from the muffler of the car where Floyd was pinned down could have played a role in his death.
That's not possible.
It's simply wrong.
And it was at most 2%.
At most 2%.
Normal.
Which is normal.
And after Dr. Tobin's brief return to the witness stand,
Your Honor, the state of Minnesota rests.
Hey, members of the jury, the evidence is now complete for this case.
with the testimony over, the judge gives the jury a 3-day weekend, announcing closing statements will come Monday. And then the panel will be sequestered until they reach a decision.
If I were you, I would plan for long and hope for short. Basically, it's up to the jury how long you deliberate, how long you need to come to a unanimous decision on any count.
With this fractured community and the nation waiting. In anticipation of deliberations and an eventual verdict, security in the downtown area has dramatically increased, with some businesses again boarding up their windows and doors. Jay Gray, NBC News, Minneapolis.